Anyway, we're coming through into springtime now. There's a bit of tapioca pudding there. I think you remember that from school days. There's a bit of a close-up there. On our farm, we've got 5 ponds, which we originally used for drinking for the cattle before water troughs were invented. And under the higher level stewardship, I received funding to restore these. And when I say restore them, it's to clean them out, make them bigger, or to cut away the scrub around them to let light into them. And I've cleaned all 5 out now, and it's quite satisfying doing a job like that. I do enjoy it, especially when you see the benefits a few years down the line, and things like the frog spawn have come back into them. I saw a heron the other day sat looking into the pond, which is good, because the thing is, I haven't put any fish in that pond myself, so whatever that heron's there waiting for has come by nature, which is nice, because it all balances out in the end. It's quite satisfying getting the frog spawn. I bring a jam jar home to my kids, and they go, "Oh, Dad, I'd rather watch CBBC or something." But no, I do enjoy that. My nephew said, "Oh, I don't like that picture, it's all eyes." It is a bit, isn't it? It's like something from a horror film. But frog spawn in the spring is great. And it also, the one thing I've noticed is that the frogs always seem to lay their frog spawn in the same spot. And you can, in one pond, I can always go there every about March time and find frog spawn. So we're coming on into spring now. Lovely bunch of daffodils there. Just see if you're awake. So we've got the cowslips coming out. And these are actually not on our farm. These are actually on a bit of a common that I manage. And you might think, well, what do you do? What do you mean manage a common? Because most people see a common, just see it as an open piece of land, and maybe you ought to plant some trees on it. Well, the thing is that my actual job under the scheme, high level stewardship, is to actually stop trees and things growing over it and stop scrub invasion. Because some of these commons are actually quite important because they're unimproved grassland. They haven't been sprayed or anything. They've got a lot of biodiversity there, but also they're good habitats for places for things like barn owls to hunt over, because barn owls need long grass. And most farms don't have long grass all year round, whereas a common probably will. So I'm actually paid to not, to stop the scrub invasion on it. And also, because they're not ploughed up and sprayed and everything, you do get things like the cowslips on them. The biggest problem I've got to contend with is that quite often people park their cars and pinch a few every year because they see it as a free garden centre. Because if you get a Wyvale, what's a cowslip? It's about £5 or something, isn't it? So they park up and nick them from the common. And just as they're getting a big kind of area of covering, someone comes along and thinks I'll have those. Anyway, here we are, back to my dad grafting. I told you, I've got to keep him working, keep him fit. That's the way to keep young, though, isn't it? Keep working. It's no good sat and watching Deal or No Deal all day, is it? Anyway, here we are with a picture of my nephew. He's got the flat cap habit now, look. Contagious, really. You'll all be wearing them by the time you leave tonight. I should have a stall selling them, really, shouldn't I? Now, this is one of 2 orchards we've got on the farm, and you can see here my dad is just fencing an apple tree here, young apple tree. And you might think, well, why is he putting such a big amount of fencing around it? Well, if you've got something like sheep or something like that, you don't really need to do fencing like that. But because we've got cattle, they've got a very long reach. Not only have they got a long neck, but they've also got a very long tongue. And the one thing that cattle like, and I know from experience, is they like eating the fruit off trees. So as soon as you get any fruit within reach of a pear tree or an apple tree, they'll try and take it. But on a young tree, when they take the fruit, they'll rip it down and rip the branches with it. So you need to fence these trees probably for about 10 years. And you can see one in the background there that has been fenced, and it's just getting to a reasonable height now, so that it's probably without the reach of a cow, so that's okay. So we've got one orchard here that is an old orchard, and you see some older trees here. On the other farm, I've now got a new orchard, and we'll go forward here. And in 2010, I replanted this orchard. It was an old orchard, and you can see behind one of the last of the remaining trees in it. And they were called standard fruit trees. They're the big old trees that you don't see anymore. Because a modern fruit farm now wants dwarf trees that they can harvest really easily. They don't want these big old standards. So a lot of these old orchards that you might remember as children around this area have all sort of died out. Every time there's a gale, another fruit tree seems to blow over. But I actually got 100% funding from the taxpayer, thanks very much, ladies and gents, to replant one of these orchards. Because of the fact that people are realising they're good for biodiversity, but also it's a characteristic of these counties. So it's important that we have some of these old orchards. So what I did in November 2010, unfortunately the coldest November day for 100 years, I invited 27 families to come and plant these trees with me. And I gave each family a tree. Points West actually came out and filmed it. I gave each family a tree. I asked them to plant a time capsule underneath their tree. In fact, we go back. You can see the time capsules there. Some Wally decided to plant one that big. Honestly, if you ever plant a time capsule under a tree, make it really small. Because you've got to dig a really big hole for that box. So they each got a tree and they had to plant it. The only provision was they provide their own time capsule with whatever they wanted to put in it. And you can see all the families with the kids here running around. Some people actually don't know which way a tree goes up. It's amazing how many instructions you've got to provide when you want to plant a tree. That's my friend Andy Chaps. I'm sure he wouldn't appreciate me showing you that. But it was a really nice project to do. What I did when I planted the trees, I photographed every family with their tree. Okay, so it's a record because the kids every family had young children. So the idea being that as the trees grow, the kids grow as well. And you can see now in the field what it's like now. In fact, if you walked around, some of you came round and saw this. There's the original old fruit trees. There are only a couple left. That's a Perry pear. And these are the new ones that I've planted. Around each of these trees is a fencing to stop the cattle getting to them. But also on each one there's a little copper plaque that says the name of the variety of the fruit there, but also the name of the family that planted them, so that they can all come back and see their tree. It's no good just trying to remember, is it? You'll easily forget. And then we go, oh, I think it's that one. Oh, is it that one? The interesting thing was that the varieties are all old traditional ones. There are a few. I've got a Cox's Orange Pip in there and a Bramley because that's obviously easy to have those. But I've got some other ones like Beauty of Bath. I've got one called Seven Back. I've got one called Hen's Turds, which is a cider fruit, which I've no idea what cider tastes like, but I think the clue might be in the name. But it is one of the best projects I've done, not just because it's free, because the taxpayer paid for it, but because it brings life to the farm in the form of the trees, but also getting children involved and doing something interesting, because a lot of the time on the farm, milking cows and just being in the field is quite boring, really. It's the same every day. I've done it for 30 odd years. Doing stuff like this makes me really excited, so that's why I do it, really. Anyway, so springtime, we're back on I'm glad you're getting to summer. Long time spring coming in there. If you think of a field a bit like your lawn, we've got to get rid of the bumps on it, like you might roll your lawn. So we roll our field, so there's a concrete roller there. Then, like you might want to get rid of the moss in your lawn, you rake it out. So we're raking the grass here. We're raking out the dead grass and the moss and spreading the muck out a bit with the chain harrows. And then finally, what you don't do on your lawn is you don't want it to grow really fast. But I want it to grow quite fast for the cows, so we put fertiliser on. And then come one glorious day at the beginning of April, we open the gate and the cows go out. Oh. And I can breathe a sigh of relief because I've had 5 months of feeding and cleaning and God knows what. And it's a real relief for that. They can't wait to go out. I can't wait for them to go out. We'll see a video at the end of what it's like and it's brilliant. So they go out then. And then the farm is really coming to life. We've got some bluebells here in the wood. Very lucky we've got a small piece of woodland on the farm. I was up there with a guy from Radio Bristol doing some stuff, actually. He got quite romantic. I thought he was going to propose to me at one point. It's amazing the effect a bluebell wood will have on people, actually. But it is a fantastic time of year to walk through and see. And then we're into April now, or sort of April, May time, probably April. And we're ploughing the fields here, the only crop we really grow is maize, which we grow to feed our cattle. Now, this is quite an interesting picture, if you want to focus on this a second. And if you're interested in your tractors, there's a 5-furrow reversible plough there with a 150 horsepower New Holland tractor on there. So we have a woo for that. There you go. There you go. I knew you'd all be impressed with that. But really, that's if you want interested in tractors, machinery. Some people are. That's what you can look at. But the other side of the coin of this is that I've captured with this picture a moment in time, because it's very easy to look at something and think it'll always be there, and then it's not. And I say that because my dad's still on the farm now, but when he was a boy, we had 2 Shire horses on the farm, and a bloke in the village used to come down to the farm and walk behind these 2 Shire horses to plough the fields. And in my dad's lifetime, it's gone. And all of you, some of you here must have grown up seeing Shire horses around in the countryside on farms. The 2 Shire horses left our farm in 1952. And in 1952, my dad took down the harnesses and put them on the wall in the barn. And they're still there now. But I've never seen those Shire horses. We haven't even got a photograph of them, which is a great shame, because I would have loved to have seen what they were like. And now, you see, I see a Shire horse in some sort of display on a county show or something. I've never seen one on a farm actually working, and I probably won't. But when those Shire horses went, no one was thinking like that. No one was thinking it's a real moment in history gone. Because if you think about it, we ploughed fields in this country for thousands of years with either horses or oxen, and everyone did it, and it was just always there. And in the blink of an eye, it's gone. And now we're on to tractors. But the other thing is, in 50 years' time, people might be looking at this picture of a tractor here and laughing at it, because why isn't it solar powered? You know, it's fossil fuel. That might be so archaic as the Shire horses. So there you go. There's the moment in time in that picture. Anyway, we're planting the maize there. That's maize seed. It's coated in some sort of bird repellent and different things, because the crows do like to eat it. And we're drilling away with the maize there to get it to grow, hopefully for harvesting in October.